Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. If you are in the market for a new car, make sure you go check out my guy, Matt Bowers. He's got a ton of locations throughout the region, which means due to that volume, he can give you the best prices, the best customer care, and the best car buying experience that you can have. Make sure you check out Matt at one of his many locations. He'll get you right, get you in the car of your dreams. Got a great show for you guys today. We're going to do a little bit of looking ahead, some very early over-unders that we can probably look back on and say, man, that was stupid at the end of the year, but we're going to put it out there right now. And while we're getting ready to dial that up, go to NewOrleans.Football, sign up for the site, use the code NOF, save 20% off your first payment. There's extra podcast, analysis, live streams, and a bunch more stuff coming during the season. Make sure you're signed up, get locked in now. Training camp's coming up. You want those daily updates, and you can get that discount using the code.
Yep, make sure you're locked in. If you are a frequent NOF listener, watcher, consumer, you will know that during these summer months, sometimes we get a little bit deep down there. And like Nick said, we go ahead on things that, hey, we might look back at the end of the season and say, man, that was dumb. But let's get into our first topic presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Let's get into some over-unders. Let's start off with the offense. Just easy. We're going to go through 5 of them, see kind of where we're feeling. Over under that Tyler Shough starts 10 games this season.
I'm taking the over. Let's both give our pick and then we'll talk about it.
All right, I'm also taking the over. And now you can go in
there. Yeah. So like my reason for going over on it is I think he outright wins the battle, but if he doesn't, he's eventually gonna. It might be, I think on a recent show you laid out the scenario where maybe Rattler takes the first 4 and then Shough takes over for him. I can see that happening. One way or another, though, I think if you're cutting the season in half, I think he's starting more games than Rattler does, save for injury. I mean, obviously that could skew it a little bit, but I think he ends up being overtime.
Yeah, I mean, look, with that scenario of the 4 games, I can easily be wrong. Rattler can easily come up in training camp, blow the doors out the hinges, and say, "Yo, I'm the starter. Don't even question me anymore." But I do think, like right now, with them being kind of neck and neck, Tyler Shough takes a leap ahead coming out of training camp. And I think sticking with that situation, they'll stick with Rattler for those first couple of games. And if he wins them, perfect. Continue to roll with him. But if it starts becoming kind of a struggle, you see things not lining up how you want it to line up, then I think they'll put Shough in there and that'll be 10 plus games after that. So, yeah, I'll go with the over just because I don't think either of them will disappoint, but I just think Tyler kind of in his ascension so far has made him kind of on equal footing with Rattler. So we'll see, but easily can be wrong.
I think the thing in here that shouldn't get underrated is that I do think that there's a big portion of this season that's going to be about fact finding and exploration.
Yeah.
And if this is anywhere even close, like you are going to the guy that you put the 40th pick into. I think it's about everything. And I think that's the way you should look at it. I don't think you go into this trying to figure out how to be moderately competitive. Like Rattler would have to blow the doors down, I think, for Shough not to be the guy that starts 10 games. And this is about trying to find a long-term answer at that position. And either you got one with the 40th pick or you don't. And if you don't, you need to know that so that you can draft one next year. And I think that's what this season should be about. I think that's what every season should be about going forward. It shouldn't be about trying to find a way to be moderately competitive. It shouldn't be about trying to find the 26th best quarterback in the NFL. It should be about trying to find a top 10 guy. And do they have one on the roster right now? Probably not. But you have to try to find out. And if you don't, I think you have to be willing to go back into that draft and do it again. But this is about so much more 26, 27, 28 than it is 25. And I think that's where the effort's got to be. So I'm taking the over there because I think it would be dumb not to find out unless Rattler tells you that you don't need to look anywhere else. Like this is so sure over here. If it's anywhere close, if it's, I think Rattler has to be ahead by like 15, 20% just for you to not look at the other guy. Because, I mean, I think it's about so much more than right now.
Yeah, and like we talked about on the Wednesday show on the phases of the rebuild that the Saints have to go through, how they have to check off the quarterback box before they go into moving and developing into anything else. I think this is very important. And if Shough checks that box, then you're good. Now you can move on to look into defensive ends and defensive linemen and receivers and all those different kind of other pieces that are needed all over the team. but I think that box needs to be checked in. Look, if Spencer does say, hey, don't look at anybody else because I'm holding it down, and you got Shough still on the wings in case of it falls off the wheels fall off at some point, then hey, but I do think having that set and locked in is very important.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you got to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
And that's everything. That's everything in the whole season. So yeah, definitely that.
Yep. Let's go into the next one. Alvin Kamara, 925 rushing yards.
I'm gonna go under on it.
Okay. Why? I got the under 2, but I kind of really want to hear why you're going under on that.
So I'm going under 925 on Alvin. Last year he had 950. He ended up missing 3 games. Assuming health or whatever. Still, I think I want to go under here because I don't think he should be carrying the ball 230 times next season. I think that number needs to go down. I think you need to manage it. I would like to see him a little bit closer to like that 180, 185 range, somewhere in that. I just don't want to see him on that pace. And I think they're going to have one of these guys step up and be a slightly better option next year. So assuming all those things, I think this number can dip a little bit. I think they can maybe play a little bit differently. And I think they should play a little bit differently. And I think they just need to be mindful of where he's at in his career. I think last year's coaching staff was in a situation where they very much knew it was kind of do or die for all of them, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, all of that. So it's just we're doing everything right now. I think this coaching staff can kind of take a little bit more of a prolonged view on things, and having Alvin around through the duration of his contract, not running him into the dirt, I think is in the benefit of just everything they're trying to build.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over on it, but I do very much agree with your reasoning. But kind of in the back end of that, I think if he goes over on it, that means the offensive line is set and figured out that they're able to have this amount of runway to be able to have him get over 925. But also, I'm not going over by much. I don't think he's going to blow the 1,000-yard mark and then get past that finally in his career. I think maybe about that 950-ish range, maybe he can hit. But like you said, if some of these other guys can come in and get some run and take some of that pressure off, then that's also a positive. So him going over or under, I mean, it's positive both ways in a certain sense, depending on what lens you look at it through. But yeah, if you're running him into the dirt, that's also, of course, is a negative. But if he's able to get over that because the offensive line is playing so well, then I feel like that's good also.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's possible. If he gets to 925 and he's averaging 4 yards a carry, that's 231 carries. I mean, that's just it's just such a high volume for him. It's not impossible for him to get there. I mean, he's exceeded it twice in his career, and then at 223 and 22. Like, they were kind of leaning into him incredibly heavy then. I just want to see that weight off him a little bit. I mean, if you can get over that, if you're at like 4.5, something like that, that'd be great. That might mean your offensive line's killing it and you're getting them like a ton of yards before contact, which we've seen historically throughout his career. Like, that's kind of been the thing that's dipped on him a little bit. So if you're getting up to 4.5, maybe you can get to 925 on 205 carries. So that's possibly doable. Yeah, I mean, look, if the O-line's healthy, you can get to that, and maybe you aren't like at an egregious amount of carries. I just want that number to like settle at like 180 this year, 180 next year. Keep him like highly productive. Don't put too much weight on like that recovery aspect of it. Be mindful of where he's at in his career. Keep his leadership in the locker room. Let him be the bridge over the next 2 years that kind of shows people how things are supposed to be done as you're getting to the other side. I think there's a lot of value in that. So I would look at it through that prism, but it's not 925 isn't a wild number. 4.5 yards per carry is extremely doable. He was at what last year? 4.2, and that's with all the offensive line injuries. So good scheme health is definitely an achievable number.
Let's stick with the running backs and go to the next one. Running back 2, whoever that is, do the over under 450 yards.
I'll say over, I think.
I'll say over 2 because I think it needs to be over for a certain person who's in the running to become running back 2. I think if Kendrick Miller can get over 450, then he's in a good spot long term in the future. But if he can't, and if he's still even struggling to get that running back 2 spot, then it's time to push the panic button on him and kind of reevaluate what his future is.
It's we probably both should have taken the under because like running back 2 last year, I think I had like 160 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
And
it's
if you
time.
take
It's time.
the reason there's two reasons I'm going over on it. I think Devin Neal is a legitimate player,
Yeah.
and if Kendra Miller isn't locking down running back 2, I think Devin Neal gets in that mix. And 2, I'm projecting less usage from Alvin, less usage from Taysom, and I think that just has to leave the number somewhere. Reason 3, as well as I think they designed the run game last year, I think these guys are different. Like, and you got one of the high level architects from that incredibly good Philly running game, even before Saquon.
Yeah.
They were great at running the ball. In Paginetti, I think he's going to be a big difference maker for them. And obviously, Kellen Moore is a smart-minded designer of offense. Like, I just think that they're going to have to get to that. But it is a big number. And 450 is being incredibly optimistic about a position that has no reason for optimism right now. No tangible things that you can grab onto and say this is it. But I just think I'm gonna say yeah, and I just think those things are gonna kind of come together to create that opportunity for somebody.
Yeah, and that's, kind of the reason why I'm going with yeah, because I definitely think that they have the skill to be able to do that. And you talk about last year, but last year's running back stable isn't what this year is. Last year's offensive line isn't what this year's is. So that's kind of why I'm giving it the bump up to the over, just because I think they're going to be better. They should be better. They gotta be better in all of those different aspects. Let's go on to wide receiver. Chris Olave over under 950 receiving yards.
I'm going under.
I've been toying with this one, and it's contingent on the amount of games played.
Let's say 17.
I'm going over.
I'm still under, and it's not because of Chris. I think it's just the offense isn't going to be that good. I think you got young quarterback. I don't know if the opportunities are going to be there across the board just to go over 950 yards. I mean, it's a in my mind, it's a dip even from the last couple of years. First year was 1042, second year was 1123. So I mean, look, he could get there with mediocre quarterback play, but I just think there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, and I think we're going to get to another. Did we got that one in there? Still, we'll throw it in there. We'll do it anyhow.
Okay.
The over under on Tyler Shough's passing yards. Yeah, I think that number is going to be a little bit lower. We'll hit that one next. But yeah, I think the number overall, the passing yards in this offense are going to be down, and I just don't think that the opportunity is going to be there.
I think it kind of has to be. You know what I mean? I think he has to be this high level receiver and jump into another tier, because it's about to be time to get paid. So I definitely think that, and whether that's the Saints paying him or not, but I think he has to be kind of above that mark. And I was contingent on the games played, because I think if he plays all the games this season, then he can reach that mark. But if he plays only like 14, 13 games, then I'll have to go with the under. But I definitely was, it definitely has a lot of asterisks on it on how he can get to that point. Because like we talked about in the Monday show, if the quarterback play isn't hitting, then kind of where is he at? Why is he wasting his time, in a certain sense of speaking? Why is he burning years just trying to wait for that to click, when time is literally money at that aspect?
Yeah, and look, he can want everything and he can desire it and he can want to take his game to the next level or
Yeah.
whatever. But like if the opportunities aren't there, they aren't there, which so 3,200 yards on Shough. Let's say he starts every game, week 1 to week 17, 3,200 yards, you over or under.
I'm under.
Yeah, so like where's it coming from? Like
Yeah.
where is 1,000 yards for one guy coming from? I mean that's a massive target share on that, and it's definitely doable. It's definitely possible, but you could not hit 950 yards, and it might not be reflective on the pass catchers at all. Like he could catch Mike Thomas rates, 90 some percent,
Yeah,
and,
but
and
he's
be
not
doing
getting
all that.
paid.
Yeah, you aren't getting the ball. You aren't getting the ball. Caleb Williams had 3,500 last year. He's the number 1 pick in the league. And granted, there were some like bumps and bruises there, but the perceived level of talent coming into it right off rip, like it just isn't quite the same. So,
Ooh, I don't want to walk it back. I don't, but I'm seeing it play out like that.
Jaden Daniels had 3,500 yards last year, man. 17 starts. Like it's tough. It's tough to get over. So Well, if we're doing a conservative number of passing yards, and I think you can throw Rattler in there, Shough in there, whatever, the
Mhm.
3,200, I'm probably taking the under on both of them at 17 games.
Mm. 'Cause you got
35, 35, I'm definitely under.
oh,
32 is
yeah.
like,
No,
oh,
no,
that's
no.
tough. But like
I'm under
35,
35.
even at 3,500, I find it hard to see a way that someone's getting 1,000 yards. I don't know.
Yeah, because even the distribution of it, because you have Shaheed, another flyer, you have Cooks, another flyer, and then getting Jawan in there, he has to get his just to justify that money.
Then there's Alvin.
Ooh,
Like Terry
if
McLaurin
Taysom
got
plays, yeah,
Terry McLaurin got 1096 last year. I mean, so it's tough. It's tough to get to a G. That's kind of the number. 950, 1,000 is kind of the number there when you're at that rate. So
yeah,
it's a tough bet. It's devious, man. And I don't think it would be reflective on Chris at all. I don't. Like I just think
yeah.
the
No,
offense
because
might.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. Even when we were talking about with the extension, it's really not on him at a certain point because somebody has to get him the ball. Somebody has to consistently get him the ball, and I think that's why I'm sticking with the over, but definitely can easily see it being the under and not have no shock or surprise about it.
Yeah, I think that number is like right around. Like a push is like really. I'm not battling on the over. I'm not battling on the under. Like I
Mhm.
think that's just like kind of about the ceiling, and a couple
Yeah.
things go right, you hit over, a couple things go wrong, you hit under. But I don't know that I see 11, 1,200 yards, just because I don't think he's existing in an atmosphere where that's
That's
possible.
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can own a Canadian Goose jacket, but if it's not getting down to 30 degrees, 25 degrees, like that thing's not coming out the closet, and it just kind of is what it is sometimes.
Yeah. Perfect analogy right there. Let's go with the next one. Hopping on the offensive line, Trevor Penning, 9 starts at guard.
I'll be quick on this one. I over, and I feel like it'll kind of work out.
Okay. I'll go under, and I feel
That's
like
crazy because like we've been on the opposite sides of this. I'm the Penning pessimist. You and Mike are like
and
have been
I've been
optimistic about him.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm going under, and I think eh, because of the caveat of at guard, I think if somebody at tackle, which not hoping anybody gets hurt, but if that happens,
Okay.
then maybe he has to go over there, and then Radens can come in and fill in that guard, just
Okay.
because it's such a long season. So it's not like I'm going completely backtracking on having hope for him, but I think if somebody gets hurt on one of those sides, then he'll be the next coming up, and then Radens fills in that guard.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But 9 starts, I mean, that means he's. You say you're going to be quick with it, but I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna try to get some more out. You think he's highly serviceable to where?
No, I don't think any of that. I just think,
Okay.
if you're asking me to make a bet today, I think they want it to work out. I think it'll be serviceable,
Mhm.
and he'll get 9 there. I just think that,
Okay.
but I'm not betting on it. I'm not confident about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the path that they want to have hit.
All right, let's go into our next segment presented by Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. If you look up Shawbear Insurance, make sure you look up the Earhart Agency. They'll get you the best deals around. Let's go into defensive over-unders. Let's start off with the guy now with I don't know if it's gold or gray or like some type of, I don't know. Cam. Let's go to Cam Jordan. 5 sacks over-under.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go under here. I think I'm going under on this one. Different scheme, probably less snaps, maybe fewer opportunities. The third down stuff. I think still put your hand in the dirt and go, stuff like that. But I just think, yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably under on this one.
Yeah, I'm going under also. I don't think that at this point of his career, that is a realistic. I think there's been a lot of help to try to get him to that number in, elevating BY, maybe, getting some other players in here that can help absorb a lot of those other I just don't see how he gets to that number at this point of his career. And I still think he's very viable. And I think getting to that number helps him out in his Hall of Fame bid, but I don't know. I
Is
just
he
don't
like
see.
is yeah? What are the snaps on the third down package? How do they view
Yeah.
him? All this stuff. I don't know. Like if he's just kind of like a first and second down player, is it there? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how he's going to be used, how it fits or whatever. I think 5 is a good number. I could see 5 sacks for him, but like going over to 5.5, 6. I kind of gotta. I got to see, but I think if you got 5 out of him and he gives you some decent run defense, I think that's a good equation for where he's at in his career.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go on to the next one. Tyrann Mathieu, 3.5 interceptions. I am over.
You're going over on it.
Mhm.
All right.
From your tone, that means it sounds like you're going under.
I would go push on it probably.
Okay.
I would go push on it probably 3.5. So you're getting the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess you can't push on it because there's not actual 3.5. I'll go.
You
I'll
can't
go
get
over.
3.5 interceptions.
I'll go over.
So
I've
you go
like
over?
3,
Okay.
4. Yeah, 3, 4 is like the right number, I think. And I think the way they're going to play is going to create more opportunities. It's more vision based. You're looking down, back isn't turned as much. They like to jump stuff. They like to disguise a little bit more than DA did a lot of disguise. I think they disguise different in this scheme. I'll go over.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my over because, for one, I think he's second in the league right now of active players with total interception numbers. So I think he continues to go ahead and get that. But his availability also, he's been available
Good
almost
point.
every game for the last 3 seasons. So I think his availability, he'll be able to get in there and create some disruptions. And, they might try to downplay him. Some people might get in there and not know who the Honey Badger is. And I think he'll sting him and show him kind of what he can do. So that's why I'm going with the over.
People shouldn't, man. Like you can ding him, you
Yeah.
can knock different aspects of his game. That playmaking ability to me is still elite, and I think that's something that he still does really really well. I don't see differences there. I think he's incredibly smart, and if you put him in a role where he can kind of jump some stuff, that's his game. That's what he does well. And I think he was held back on it a little bit in the previous scheme, just how tight some things were with how they did things. So. Yeah, I'll take the over. I'm confidently on the over on this one.
There you go. All right, now we back on the same page. Now, next up, Brian Brzee, 5 sacks. Led the team last year. So
It's 7.5.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
I got the over. I think he takes a leap. Like we talked about it earlier this offseason. Brzee needs to take a tier jump. And I think this season he does. I think this season he does. It all comes together. His run defense gets better. He's able to go in there and create more havoc. I mean, the New York Giants are on the schedule, so he'll eat that game. He's done it all the other times that they've played. So yeah, I'll go with the over, and I'll confidently say the over. I don't know if he gets to the 7.5 like he did last year, but I think just his overall impact is going to be over what it was the last 2 seasons. Ooh.
I'm gonna go under, and
Okay.
I think there's a few things here. Like he played 139 snaps last year, so he's typically at three tech, right? Like so, if you're going into the 3-man front, and if he's on the field in it, and I don't know if he will be. Like I don't know if they're gonna have him out there in that or not. If the run defense isn't good, but let's say he is. Like he had 139 snaps at positions. Let's just it would be 4-eye, 4 or 5. What? But let's just say moved over closer to the tackle. 139 snaps out at those positions last year, and I don't think they were great. He had 2 sacks out of them and 4 other hurries. I don't know. I don't know if I see the jump there. I could see him becoming a better player and that number going down overall from 7.5.
So you think he evolves in his game, but
I think the evolution of him has to come in the form of being able to play the run. Like it's not necessarily the pass rushing thing. I think it's playing the run, being more sound and some of that stuff. I think the evolution of him might come in a way that maybe hinders the sack production a little bit. But if he got better at the other stuff, but I don't see 7.5. Over is probably the safer bet. Like I'm kind of just being a little contrarian here, just like taking the other one because you took that one because like I don't have a strong belief in it. So I'm just gonna so someone can win the bet. I'm taking the under, but like I would go under 7. If we did this at 7.5, under's easy. Like under's an easy pick. If we did it at 6.5, I think under's an easy pick still. 5 is kind of rough going under on it because it probably will be the over, but I'm just taking the under because I'm short in your position and I might be able to get a win here.
In terms of his game, if he takes a step back in his pass defense, but that means he takes a step up in his run defense, are you cool with that compromise?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it has to be. Like the run defense stuff has to get better. The pass rush stuff is always like circumstantial or people creating opportunities for you, right place, right time, like on a bunch of them. as long as you're around the quarterback, if he had 4.5 and was a great run defender, I think that's good. And then next year, that 4.5 could be back to 7. Like, I think there's just kind of those highs and lows doing that and a couple circumstantial things. So I don't know if like, the sack number, I don't know. I don't know if it's always that number is always reflective of, and he's a good example of it. I don't know if it's always a good example of how someone's playing. I thought last year Carl Granderson probably played a little bit better than his sack number. So that's one. Yeah. So that's just kind of, yes. To answer your question, yes, I would be okay with it.
Okay. Let's get into this next one. A guy, just the guy on the defense so far, but he's getting up there in age. Demario Davis, 100 tackles.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man.
Okay.
I'm going. It's tough because like, is he gonna play? Because we saw him miss a game last year, and like now all of a sudden, like
That's now
like
introduced.
yeah. Superman is a man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll go over on it because he's over on it every year, and I think he'd have to miss multiple games to hit the under. So I'm going over on it. But for the first time ever, it's one where it's not like yes, it's kind of like, man, he missed a game. Like, what if he misses 2? Like, what happened? So, but I'm over on it. I'm over on it. I don't think he misses enough games. I see him working incredibly hard. Like, they got the videos out every day. Him and JT doing all the work. I think they're going to come back and they're going to make sure that they always put in the work. They're always working hard. So I don't think anything's different. I don't want to suggest that, but
Yeah.
I think they're going to come back and I think that missed game means something to him, to his team, to everyone, and I don't think they ever want to let that happen again.
I'm going with the over because of the JT factor. Friend of the show, somebody who we've seen how much time goes into the recovery and preparation process in that behind the scenes that we even did with AK, just seeing how much goes into that. But you said it, and that's the best way I've kind of quantified it in my head. You've seen Superman bleed because over the past couple of years, just haven't seen him miss a game. There was that game against the Jaguars where he ended up going out there, even though, you know what I mean, things were saying that he probably shouldn't have. So I definitely think that him missing that game is a factor, and it might, say, okay, well, what happens if this, that, and this happens? But I think with the preparation that he puts into going into a game day, that he'll be in there, and if he's in there, he's making things happen. I don't think he's just in there taking up a spot.
There's one thing that could change it a little bit too. That could make it a little bit closer. Like if their run defense up front is better, if Godchild makes like a significant material difference, that does take away a couple opportunities. Yeah, it does take away a couple opportunities to make tackles. So that's something working against them. But I don't think they're going to be like. I think he's going to be healthy, and I think the 100 tackle opportunity is going to be there. So yeah, easy over for me.
Yeah, and then I mean, I forgot that he was such a big OKC fan. So maybe that them winning the championship was a lifetime will add another push for him. But let's go back into the secondary. Let's go with Kool-Aid McKinstry. 4 interceptions, over under.
No disrespect to anyone. Like you got it. Like you didn't have one. Like he hasn't had a pick yet. So I'm going. I gotta go under until you're over. But I think he could definitely get 4.
I think he can too. But if I'm going 3.5 over for Tyrann, then
yeah,
I'm going under for Kool-Aid because I just don't think that collectively this defensive secondary is going to have 8+ interceptions this season. So I'm going with the under on that just because I got to see it happen. I got to see even kind of how he feels in having a whole season to be a starter. I know he said a couple of weeks ago about being in the Staley defense, how he played that in Alabama, and he's used to kind of what all entails with that, but I just don't see where it comes from. I don't know if
he only had 2 picks in college too. So even like the home field advantage with the scheme,
right?
I don't know if that makes a huge difference. I could see like he could be a playmaker. It could happen for him. Also I think quality of pass rush and all that stuff goes into creating some of these opportunities. I just don't know if there's going to be enough. So yeah. Under for now.
Yeah, I'm going under for now too, because even though they're not the same type, like with Paulson Adebo, he had, for all of his faults in terms of penalties and stuff last season, he had the picks to say, well, yeah, I'm hurting in this way with these penalties, but I'm positive and I'll get these interceptions. So you got to just see where Kool-Aid fills out and how he fills out in the secondary this season, having a full runway to start. for the entire season. We're going to hit a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll have more over-unders. Keep it locked to NewOrleans.Football.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chaubert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Chaubert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chaubert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chaubert. That's 504-326-6526. Chaubert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County peach whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin family farms. And Hardhide strawberry whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86 proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants.
Welcome back for more NewOrleans.Football. It is now time for our next segment presented by Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. If you're in the stores and checking out Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey, make sure you check out the Chilton County Peach. Same great flavor, same great taste that you know Hardhide to provide. Let's go with the best of the rest in these over-unders, the ones that didn't make the overall offensive and defensive list. Let's start off with Saints, 4.5 wins. I'm going under.
I'm going over. I got him at 5. I'm holding steady at 5. No reason to change that number yet. So I'm sitting on 5 until we have more information.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been bitten too many times, so I'm going with the under, and I'm staying there because if last season showed me anything, is that be prepared for the unexpected. And I think, like you said in today's show, just how you gotta be prepared at a certain point just to see what the quarterbacks can do. Be prepared to see kind of what can happen. So at this time, at a certain time of the year, it might turn from wins and losses to just, all right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got moving forward. Let's see who can possibly be the guy. So I'm going with the under on that. I'm sticking to it until further notice. Next up, Alontae Taylor, 3 sacks.
Yeah, this one's super interesting to me. I mean, he had 4 last year and got moved to the outside. If he's playing on the inside and they use him as a dynamic playmaker, which I think they do. I think they have the vision for him. I'm taking the over on it.
Yeah, I'm taking the over too, because even the spark that he created just constantly in the game that they were, I'll never forget, in a game that they were blowing out the Panthers, the first game of last season, flying in there, making plays, making it happen. I think if they use him in the inside and he's able to really set and let the concrete set, because this is a guy who's been moved around so much in his career so far with the Saints. But I think if they say, hey, this is where you're going to be at, develop and play your game, I think in that position, he will have 3 or more sacks.
What about at 4? What about at 4?
Gets a little dicey then. 3.5 I'm more comfortable with than 4.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So I'm definitely on over on that. Next up, number 9 pick, Calvin Banks, 4 sacks allowed.
I'm going over.
We're going over?
Yeah.
I was gonna push, but where's your over at?
Well, I mean, Fuaga allowed 6 last year, so I think you could be a little bit better than that and still. Like 4 is a tough number. 4 feels like the number I would like. Hey, how many do you think he lost? Probably about 4. That's probably what I would. So 4 is a good number. you got young quarterbacks back there that probably are going to make mistakes too, that are going to take too long of drops, hold the ball too long. So I'm going, with those factors, I go over. If you told me, look, and I know everyone feels their way about them, but like if you told me there's a veteran like Carr back there, I'd probably go under on it, just because I feel like there's a little bit, just some of that veteran savvy help. He kind of keeps himself out of some trouble, where I think is an inexperienced guy, not necessarily knowing how to read every blitz, that doesn't have 10, 11, 12 years of looking at how defenses attack in the NFL, doesn't have call back to, we played Fangio this year, this is a Fangio disciple, they like to do this with this guy. So I think there's just kind of like some overall knowledge, even if you aren't executing it at the ultimate level, like even if you're like Andy Dalton, like I think just some knowledge and just being able to recognize some things and not seeing it for the first time is going to help your offensive line out. So I'm going to go over on it because of a lot of like inexperience factor.
I'm going to go over as well, but not too high to that 6 margin. I kind of want to stick around that 5, but you talk about Carr and his veteran presence. Yes, in the pocket it is, but him rolling out against the Giants and then leaping and
and he's a guy that gets sacked a lot too. But
like I think that knocked out his career.
No doubt. I think just kind of like I recognize this thing they're doing to fool me. Whereas rookie quarterbacks,
they don't know.
Let's take Derek Carr out of it. Like, they're playing a rookie. They're gonna throw everything at him. They're gonna disguise everything. Whereas like there's things you can't do against people that have seen 10 years of football. There's just things that are off the menu that you can't try to trick people into. And I think you're gonna end up giving up a couple on those, and a quarterback's gonna put himself into some trouble just based on some of those things alone.
Yeah. And also too, I think hopefully it has to be the availability of other starters on the field is important too, because even last year with Fuaga, there was a point where he was like, I'm here with guys who weren't here with me coming through this summer. These are like a whole new cast of characters on this offensive line. So I think with the starters also being there around Banks, they're able to help him say, hey, you almost got beat on this one, so try to readjust and do this so it doesn't happen again. And I think I'll go with the over, but it's not like a major indictment on him and his ability and skill. Kind of like what you said, it might be the quarterbacks just coming up in there and maybe holding it a little too long and getting themselves in danger that they don't need to be in. Next one, a guy we talked about a lot last show, Chase Young, 8 sacks.
I feel like this line is just you have to take the under on it.
Yeah.
Like he's never gotten 8 in his life.
Yeah.
So let's move it to
6.5.
No, let's go to 5.5. That's where he was out last year. Let's do 5.5.
I'll go over.
I guess I will too, because I just don't want to be a pessimist.
I'll go over because if I said last show that he would be the linchpin on somebody who has to perform, this is the performance. This is going in there and making it happen. And I think last year he played all of those games, but it still was that kind of maybe holding himself back on not getting injured because he knew he had to get paid and he knew he didn't want to experience what he experienced before in terms of that serious injury with his neck. And so I think kind of the gloves are off going into this year. He's gotten paid. He has had a whole year of being on the field. I think he goes out there and tries to wreck shop. And we just said 5.5. Yeah, I think he could match that or get over. So yeah. I definitely but I could be let down. But I'm sticking with it.
I don't want to speak to anyone's soul, just in general, a player, any player. When you tell me like the money year versus the paid year, I feel like it's the opposite on the motivation.
You're right.
He might not exist there. And I get what you're saying with the injury risk and all that stuff. Like, okay, got money now, can let it rip. Fine. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying there. I don't disagree with that point. I'm going over just for the reason, like he had a lot of pressure last year, and I think just maybe a couple of them hit in a different way. So I'm going over on that, and that would be my reason why. Like he was knocking on the door a lot. I think he just gets the door open a couple more times, and you go over on the 5.5. But I would be under on 8 for sure.
Yeah, under on 8 for sure. But you bring up that contract year being the year to perform and to show out and to make things happen, to get paid. And I think even just showing with the team last year and all the injury problems that they had, the availability was a big plus. The
Yeah.
availability showing that you can be available. Not saying it was the same exact in terms of holding the same weight.
No, he
but
needed to do that. I don't disagree on that at all. I don't
Yeah.
disagree on that at all. So, I mean, I think there is some validity in his specific case to what you're saying. Yeah, no doubt.
Mhm. Are there any other over-unders just off the top of your head that you want to finish out with that we might
No,
not
I
have
don't think.
picked? Because I
I don't
mean,
think so.
Rashid, there was some in there in the list that we created of Rashid on there. And man, just with that Chris argument, I really don't want to walk it back and go with the under, but it just I just don't see where the yards come from.
We had
For
Shaheed at 750 on there. I mean, I think that one's tough in that context. I go over on it, but like,
yeah,
I just don't think I don't think there's a very large pie to divide this year. Like, I think the
Right.
pie is very small. And
right.
yeah, like kind of going over under on these like receiver totals ends up being like reflective of them. Oh, Jawan 5 touchdowns.
Shit, it gotta be over. It gotta be over.
Okay.
It
All right.
has to be. And I don't know where and look, that same thing. I don't know where it comes from, but the way you paid him and who he has to be on this team, and you haven't gone out and gotten a bigger receiver yet. So he's gonna play more of that hybrid role. It has to be at that level. Even when the Saints were bad, Jawan was having more than 5 touchdowns. So
No,
yeah,
he only did it once. He has 7 and he's been under 4 or less every other year.
that year was it that year with Andy Dalton where he was over?
He had 7 in 22.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. Because I remember against the Cardinals on that Thursday night game, he was eating, and it was like, well, dude, that's cool and all, but you got to do this every week. So, yeah, I'm going over, and it kind of has to be over. I mean, but the red zone, well, we don't know. Rookie quarterbacks, we don't know what that will look like now. So, man, there's just so much on this team that has to hit.
Yeah,
That has
no,
to
a ton
hit.
of stuff has to hit. Yeah.
Yeah. And you talk about the pie with these quarterbacks and with these receivers. I mean, like, look, it's not like Ace where he's that everybody eats if you putting up Calvin numbers. You know what I mean? If you have a Calvin level block, you're not gonna put up Ace numbers, so everybody can't eat at that point. So it just is what it is, man. Just is
Yeah.
what it is. We're gonna hit a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll have the Get Gordon question of the day. Keep it locked to NewOrleans.Football.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant dropped some new apps, and they nailed every single one. The Southwest Chicken Egg Rolls, crispy, packed with flavor, and the avocado ranch seals the deal. Crab claws in a creamy Cajun sauce? Don't forget the French bread. And the fried chicken cracklings? Crunchy, sweet heat. You'll want your own plate. Open 7 days a week, and yep, they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com.
Welcome to the Queen Casino, where entertainment meets unparalleled customer service. From our days on the water to our new land experience overlooking the Mississippi River, our dedicated staff is here to ensure your visit is nothing short of exceptional. Whether you are coming or going, our well-lit parking lot and security team provide guests with red carpet treatment. Our security team keeps watch so you can focus on fun and fortune. From table to table, our attentive staff is here to serve up the ultimate experience. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
Welcome back for more NOF. It is now time for the Get Gordon question of the day, presented by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Today's question is, if the Saints don't land Asante Samuel, how confident are you in Quincy Riley or Isaac Yiadom filling in at the cornerback 2 spot?
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to roll with it. I'm not confident with anything really at that position until we see how guys come together. I'm confident in Ike setting like a decent type of floor, but like do I trust him enough to like confide my biggest secrets in him? Like, I don't know if I got that level of trust in him. So, yeah. I mean, but I look, I don't know if I'd trust Asante like that either. Like I think you kind of gotta, they gotta come and improve. He's got to prove he's healthy. He can do different things. Would my default trust level in Asante be a little bit higher right now? Yeah. Like we're starting at a higher floor, but would I see the basement being the same maybe across the board? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I definitely am echoing those same sentiments. That was going to be my lead off in terms of I don't know what Asante Samuel is coming off this neck injury. We just talked about Chase Young and last year how he came off of his neck injury and him proving that he can play 17 games kind of was equal to the same amount of his production just because he had to prove that he can stay on the field. And Asante isn't a person with a lot of injury hangups in history where it's kept him out, but this is a major injury. It's a neck injury. That's how you move your head. That's how you're a person that's running backwards and equivalent to people running forward. So having your neck and being able to turn is extremely, extremely important. And I know I just gave y'all a little demonstration of, you know what I mean? I don't think y'all want to get on the field with me. We'll see. But just
how's that 40 going? How's that 40 going?
Hey man, we went on the levee the other day. It was hot as a mug out there, but we still got it done.
You're about out of time, man. Like I
got till September. I'm good. We don't have to worry about that. That's time down the line. We gonna be all right. We got things cooking in that aspect. But just sticking with Ike.
I think you'd be slower right now than you were back then.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't.
We'll see.
I
don't think you've taken it seriously.
I got the weighted vest, bro. We're good. I got the weighted vest. We're good. Weighted vest in the levee.
Yes, you
want me to go get it?
No, I don't.
All right then.
I mean, I don't doubt that you own it, but I don't think you put it into practice.
Yeah, I have. I got the good one. I got the good, not giving them a shout out, but I got the good TikTok one. The one that it fits differently than the traditional ones where you got like all the metal and stuff up front. This is a sandbag one, goes around. It's good. I like the feel of it. I almost feel like you're wearing nothing except for you got 40 pounds on you. But still, going back to these cornerbacks. Ike, you've seen what he can be, but I mean, like you said, I don't know if I'm trusting him. What, man? What? You want race? Come on, man. We got nothing but time and opportunity. Come on, let's do it. And no, I'm not getting all my kicks off of beating what are you, 35 plus year old man.
We'll line you up against Joe, man. That's how we're doing the 40. We'll see. We're gonna line you up against Joe. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes.
I already beat Joe. What do you mean? I've beaten Joe already. I don't line me against. I like Joe, but don't line me against a puppy child, man. Give me somebody real. But you remember what you said when we were talking about it at first? You was like, "Yeah, we're gonna just go around to different places and I'll put bets on you to beat them in a race in a parking lot." Oh man. But yeah, no, I definitely think, Quincy Riley, you'll have to see what he ends up being. But between him and Ike, I mean, I'm not all the way confident in anybody in that position right now. But hey, we'll have to see. We're gonna catch you guys next time. Appreciate you all for stopping in today. Catch you.